Hello, my name is Dr. Kevin Clancy. I'm a staff psychologist at the Counseling Center, and I serve as the Associate Director for Clinical Services. I've been working at William & Mary for about 10 years now, serving as a staff psychologist, working with our students, and I'm really excited to share more about the services and resources that we provide here at William & Mary's Counseling Center. First off, I just want to acknowledge that move-in day and this transition can be incredibly stressful, not only for your student, but also for you as well. There's a lot of emotions that come up when dealing with this transition, and I just want to normalize and hopefully lessen some of that anxiety, learning more about the services that we offer here at the Counseling Center. To start off, the Counseling Center is located at the McLeod Tyler Integrative Wellness Center. It's across from the Sadler Center, so if you're on campus here, we're right across the street, that main pathway from the main student kind of center. The Counseling Center is located in the building with the Student Health Center, Health Promotion, as well as some other resources, and the Counseling Center is located on the second floor. If you hadn't had the chance, I really encourage you to come visit. Our doors are always open and it's a beautiful center. It was built in 2018 and it has a lot of wonderful features, including like a water feature, amazing architecture that really brings the nature and the outdoors inside the building too. And we're again located on the second floor. On the first floor, you'll find health promotion, some wellness initiatives, and the Student Health Center. And then if you go upstairs, either through the elevator or the main staircase, you'll find our offices on the second floor. We try to make it a really warm and welcoming space for our students. Here's just some pictures of the waiting room. We offer coffee, tea in the waiting room, some relaxing music. We try to make it so that our offices are really welcoming and inclusive as well. And we really encourage students as well as family to come visit us if you ever want to see the space. I know there's a mystification about therapy and it can feel really intimidating because of stigma and other reasons, but we really try to make it inclusive and welcoming for students coming for the first time too. I did want to talk about our scope of service because I feel like that's really important. So here at the Counseling Center, we do provide services to all students, but we're not a comprehensive mental health facility. And what that means is we define our scope of service as brief therapy. So for individual therapy, we see students on an every other week basis typically for about a semester's worth of time. We don't have session limits, so we're never going to say like we 8 sessions and then we have to close our work up with a student, and we really try to take an individualized approach. But we also realize that for accessibility reasons, in order to give students kind of like the ability to engage in services, we need to limit that to about every other week for about a semester's worth of time. If a student is looking for more specialized or long-term care, then we can help these students facilitate a referral to an off-campus provider or other resources here in the Williamsburg community. We're really lucky here to have a really strong network of community providers as well. So if someone's looking for more long-term care or they seem like that they may need weekly treatment for individual counseling, then we'll walk that student through that referral process. And that might include calling insurance companies or calling the provider's agency number or making sure that they have their first appointment and that it was successful and a good match. And we don't let go until we know that that student's successfully connected. But overwhelmingly, most of our students are seen here at the Counseling Center. We see over 1,000 students per year for counseling services. And the last statistic I can remember is about 1 out of every 4 students will engage in care at the Counseling Center at some time during their William & Mary career here as a student. So we really kind of touch many lives here at the Counseling Center. In addition to that, students can walk in at any time to meet with a mental health professional, or even after hours or weekends. We have different emergency or urgent resources available to students. In terms of utilization and presenting concerns, students really could present for varying reasons. Sometimes they use it as a self-care strategy. Students know that their semester may feel stressful or overwhelming, so they may come in for self-care strategies, helping lessening their anxiety, working through the fear of failure or procrastination. Other students come in, they want to work on issues that they've been working on for a long time. Our data suggests that more and more students every year, incoming freshmen, have engaged in counseling in the past. So they might want to continue working on like a pre-existing like depressive or anxiety symptoms. They know that they may need that therapeutic support, so they come in knowing already what they're working towards. And some seek help in relation to concerns or situations that are negatively affecting them or impacting their level of functioning. So a lot of our students, like life happens, there could be acute stressors in their lives, working through periods of transition, dealing with grief and loss, and our office often is equipped to help students manage and deal with life as it happens. In terms of the most common presenting concerns, oftentimes anxiety and depression are the top two, and those could look like different in a lot of different ways. Interpersonal concerns, relational concerns, that could come from like trying to cultivate a sense of belonging, to specific concerns about a specific relationship. We help students navigate family distress. A lot of times there's like a lot of identity transitions that are happening at this period in their lives, in terms of moving away from family for the first time, maybe dealing with grief and loss, really coming into their own individual identities. We work with students who may have experienced historical trauma or have experienced a recent episode of trauma, helping students deal with self-esteem and self-confidence issues. Oftentimes our group therapy offerings are really helpful in students managing that. Helping with perfectionism. So a lot of our students are really high achieving individuals. They've come from the top percent of their class to kind of redistributing on that bell curve. So dealing with that perfectionism and that stress of really wanting to excel academically, helping them let go of that and really embracing that authentic excellence in terms of operating from their values. We help students that may have ADHD concerns, neurodiversity, executive function concerns, and as I mentioned, also just working through adjustment and transitions. We have a lot of first year students coming in just wanting help navigating this really important transition in their life in terms of navigating college life and what that means for them. So when a student makes an appointment at the counseling center, they're typically offered an initial consultation appointment. So during an initial consultation appointment, a student can meet with one of our clinicians and talk about what their presenting concern is. At the end of that appointment, the provider will then give a recommendation for follow-up service, and that could be for individual counseling with that provider. It could be for group therapy. It could be for a referral to a community provider if they're looking for more specialized or longer-term treatment, or another campus referral resource. And students can make that appointment by either calling our main number, 757-221-3620, or they can come in person and request an appointment. In addition to initial consultations, we offer urgent appointments anytime that we're open, Monday through Friday, from 8 to 5. And urgent appointments are anything that feels time sensitive to the student. So it could be anything from a breakup to failed an exam to more acute psychological distress or safety concerns. If they request an urgent appointment, they're seen typically within 5 to 15 minutes by one of our clinicians. And that clinician will do a safety assessment, help them de-escalate the situation, and then provide some follow-up recommendations in terms of how to move forward. And just know that if a student is feeling like they can't wait for an initial consultation appointment, they could always request an urgent appointment, and we are always able to accommodate that. When we're at our busiest, the longest wait for an initial consultation, at least last year, was about 2 weeks, which is not unreasonable for most students and their presenting concerns, but just know that if a student makes an appointment earlier in the semester, we're typically able to accommodate that within a few days for that initial consultation appointment. And the longer we go into the semester, they may have to wait a few more extra days for an initial consultation appointment. So the Counseling Center offers varying different types of services. Predominantly, we offer individual therapy to our students. We offer group therapy, so any given semester we offer between 8 and 10 groups, and our groups consist typically of around 8 students per group and are co-facilitated by 2 clinicians. We have Understanding Self and Other groups to help with interpersonal concerns. We have women's focus groups, women of color group, men's groups, We offer a good enough group, like an art therapy group. So every semester we have different groups that we're able to offer, kind of to meet what students are needing and what the demand is. And it's a wonderful resource it's actually really hard to get into a group therapy, outside the college setting. So it's something that we really push for, and our outcome measures indicate that students have really good experiences within our group therapy program. Uh, our sports psychology consultant offers performance management consults. So if your student's dealing with some type of athletic performance concern or even like test anxiety, um, our sports psychology consultant's able to meet with students to help them manage that. We offer emergency, urgent, and crisis intervention. So as I mentioned, we have urgent appointments, we have after hours, emergency resources available to students. So if a student is dealing with something that's time sensitive, that feels like an emergency, we have the capacity to help the student navigate that, do assessments, and help them connect a higher level of care if needed. We also offer consultations, and that could be from community members, it could be from parents. If a student's concerned about a third-party person within the community, we can meet with that student and help them navigate that. Oftentimes our students kind of take care of each other in certain capacities, and if that's really weighing heavy on them, they could come in and help us, we could help them kind of navigate that situation. We provide referrals to community providers, again, so if someone's looking for more specialized or longer term care, or if they're looking for something really specific in the community, we have a referral support appointments. They can meet with a clinician to help, we can help them walk through that and navigate insurance or any financial concerns or other barriers that might come up in that process. And lastly, we offer coordination of care with other William & Mary offices. So if a student's looking for accommodations due to psychological reasons, we could help them navigate working with student accessibility services. We work really closely with care support services. So if someone is presenting or going through a really difficult life situation and they need some like academic support, we could help them connect to different offices that are able to facilitate that. And lastly, I just want to mention about tuition reimbursement insurance. A lot of family and parents don't know that this exists, but and we don't have a particular company that we're endorsing or that we work with, but different companies offer tuition reimbursement insurance programs that you could sign up for, just in case a student has to withdraw from a semester beyond the add drop period in which they would kind of still be on the hook for their tuition. That insurance then covers the cost of the tuition in case the student's dealing with a psychological and or other emergency in which they would need to withdraw for that semester. So I really encourage that, like if you know that your student has a pre-existing mental health condition that may flare up, that is episodic, that might impact their ability to finish a semester, the university is able to accommodate a withdrawal to help them like not impact their GPA. But that tuition reimbursement insurance could be really helpful in case they need to withdraw towards the end of the semester, where typically tuition wouldn't be reimbursed. So I really encourage parents, families to do some research on that to see if that meets a need for you and your family. I do want to talk about confidentiality as well because it's really important at a university college counseling center. So federal and state laws and ethical practice guidelines prohibit therapists from talking to parents, professors, deans, friends about a student's treatment or even in their engagement in counseling services. And that could be really hard for parents. Like if a parent's calling saying like my student's really struggling, are they engaged in care? Without a release signed, the counseling center cannot confirm or deny a student's engagement in services. But at the same time, like we still love to talk to parents, families, consult. Again, we just can't confirm or deny unless that student signs a release and give us that authorization then to talk to parents and or other offices within William & Mary. There are a few exceptions or limitations to confidentiality, and we go over this with students really clearly as a part of our informed consent process before actually engaging in any type of work. So these exceptions include cases in which a student may harm themselves without additional help. So if there are severe safety concerns and we're really concerned about a student's ability to keep themselves safe and or harm somebody else, we may have to step in and get them a higher level of care. The exceptions also include if a student discloses abuse of a minor, elderly person, and or persons unable to protect themselves. We have to report that to authorities to keep that person safe, right? So this might come into play like if a student is talking about a younger sibling or family member that might be in the house and that person may be a survivor of abuse. Like in that case, we may need to consult with Child Protective Services to make sure that that person's safe. And that's our ethical and legal duty and responsibility. This also includes if records are subpoenaed by a judge. This is really, really rare, but a judge has the ability in the Commonwealth of Virginia to subpoena records. We take that into account in terms of how we write records, but just in case, like students need to be able to know that. And lastly, information requested by William & Mary's threat assessment team. So in the Commonwealth of Virginia, universities have threat assessment teams that are able to review threats to the campus community. And should a student's record be tied to that, we would have to legally comply with that. Again, but it would just be as much information as needed in order to keep the community and the individual safe. If there's any questions about confidentiality, it could feel kind of confusing and there's a lot to remember. We constantly go over it with students, but feel free to give our office a call and talk to us about any concerns that you may be having. Our staff here at the Counseling Center is a multidisciplinary team. We have licensed psychologists, we have social workers, licensed professional counselors. All of us are really considered generalists and we have an expertise working with collegiate mental health. So all of us have experience working with college students. We have significant training working with students with diverse identities as well. So we really feel comfortable creating an inclusive, safe place for all of our students here within our community. In addition to that, we also have a director of performance psychology who works over with athletics, but is also a part of our office. So she works really closely with our student athletes, but is also really involved in our staff meetings, and it really complements the work that we do here at the Counseling Center. We also have a really strong training program. So we have doctorate level trainees working with us, and we provide direct supervision, and they work with our students directly. And if you think about medical doctors, how they do like a residency at the end of their medical degrees, it's really similar to what we do as psychologists. So they're in their 5th year of their doctoral training, and they're with us full time for an entire year and are directly supervised by one of our licensed psychologists. And lastly, we have a support staff too. So if you ever give us a call, you might talk to either Chris or Lynn in our front desk. And they're really wonderful, kind of being that kind of front line in terms of helping our students, creating a warm and inclusive environment as they walk through that door. So as I mentioned earlier, students also have access to Timely Care, which is a virtual platform that offers individual counseling. It offers health coaching, psychiatric care, Talk Now, which is the feature I mentioned before, where students can hop in and talk to a mental health professional just within a few minutes. And that's 24/7, as well as psychoeducational materials. And every full-time student who has paid the health and wellness fee, which should be basically all of our full-time students, have access to all this at no additional cost to them. So in addition to all the different resources that we have at the Counseling Center, they also have all the resources available through Timely Care as well. Some students feel more comfortable with the virtual format. It affords a little bit more flexibility. They offer appointments beyond our business hours, so students looking for like weekend appointments and or evening appointments, which really impacts a lot of our student athletes. They have access to this service as well. So all a student has to do is download the app on their phone or go onto the website and create an account. And once they do that, then they have full access. And we really encourage students to download the app, and you can actually follow the QR code on the slide as well to figure out how to download it. And they can make a William & Mary account with that, which indicates to Timely Care that there's no cost associated. So anytime that they're in distress, all they have to do is pull their phone out and they have access to a mental health professional, which is an awesome resource. We always encourage students to download it, even if they feel like they don't need it in the moment, because sometimes when they're experiencing a moment of crisis or stress, then they don't have to worry about all those additional steps. They can just pull their phone out and they can just pop in with a counselor. And that's, again, just a wonderful resource that many of our students take advantage of. So thank you and congratulations. This is a huge time in your lives and your students' lives. And we just want to let you know that we're here for you. So whether your student is looking for some emotional or psychological support, we're here at the Counseling Center to provide that. And or knowing that this could be a really anxiety provoking time, especially as you're letting go. Maybe for the first time, you could always give us a call if you need some consultation support or just want to learn more about the resources that we provide at the Counseling Center. We really welcome that. So thank you so much for your time.